Hi gang, welcome back to day 17. My name is Marian and we are doing the Costco Wine Adventure Advent Calendar. Like I said, today we are on day 17 and we are going back to France. Specifically, we are going back to Gascony. Now, if you remember on day 12, we had a Côtes de Gascogne. Now, that was a red. Today, we are having a Côtes de Gascogne that is white. You can see that here. This is called Advent-ure 22. This is from France. You can see on the back label there, it is an IGP, which means Indication Geographic Protege. And we're going to talk about that a little bit again. But first, remember, if you're sipping along, scan your QR code. If you don't have the Advent calendar, I will drop the website into the description for you to follow along with us. Okay. So we're going back to Gascony, like we said, and I want to talk about the Indication Geographic Protege. It's IGP. Now, an IGP is a really big region where specific grapes and wines come from. Within these big areas, they have something called Appellation of Origin Control. That's an AOC. Now, the AOCs have very, very, very by the book strict rules that winemakers have to follow when making fine wine. With IGPs, they don't have to follow them as much, and it allows winemakers to have creative freedom when they're making wines. So they're not hit with the book by process. They can experiment and play a little bit. Now, Gascony, if you don't remember, is located between Bordeaux and Spain. So Bordeaux is right on the coast, Gascony is right about here, Toulouse is here, and then Spain is all the way that way. Okay. So some of the common grapes that are grown in Gascony, and we're only going to talk about white today, are Columbar. The Columbar is found in California and also South Africa. Uni Blanc. Uni Blanc is also known as Trebbiano in Italy. Gros Mansay, Sauvignon Blanc, and Chardonnay. Now, Columbar and Uni Blanc are the two grapes that make up this blend here. They're both high in acidity and have relatively neutral flavors. So in Gascony, they're actually used to make distilled brandy. And we'll go back into that shortly after we talk a little bit more. Sorry. Okay, so around 60% of the wine that's produced in this IGP, the Indication Geographic Protege, is exported 60%. That makes this one of the most exported wine styles in France. Now, you might be asking yourself, why is it that I don't hear about, why am I not hearing about Gascon wines more often? Well, another thing that I mentioned on day 11 is that way back in the day, Bordeaux merchants were seeing all the success from the Gascon winemakers because all of their wine was shipping out of the ports in Bordeaux. Well, they didn't want to compete with them, so they would put sanctions on their exports, which caused a huge decline in Gascon wines, and then made Bordeaux the obvious wine winner of the world. But what's something great to know about this is that the area of Gascogne has a lot of the same weather and terroir as Bordeaux. And it's cheaper. So if you don't want to spend all that money on a Bordeaux wine, go to Gascony. When you're at your Total Wine, Wegmans, ask the representative, I would like to try a Gascon wine. Price point will be a lot lower than a Bordeaux. All right, now let's go back to Columbar and Uni Blanc. Now, Columbar grape varietal is native to the Gascon area. It was originally only used for distilling Armagnac and Cognac. Now they use it for those, and they also make fruity white wines, which can be dry or sweet from the Columbar grape. It's also used as a blending grape in the States and California. Now the Uni Blanc. Italian grape, like we said before, most commonly called the Trebbiano. It's planted worldwide. You can pretty much find it in any country. It's got fresh, fruity flavors, and in Gascony, it's also used to make the Armagnac because of its acidity. Now let's talk about Armagnac and Cognac and what the difference is. Now Armagnac is a liqueur or distilled wine, a brandy if you will, and it's made from a blend of the Columbar and the Uni Blanc grapes. And it can only come from Gascony. It cannot be made anywhere else in the world. Now a Cognac is only Uni Blanc grapes that have been distilled 2 times in copper stills. And legally, it has to be aged for at least 2 years in oak barrels. But just like any whiskey or brandy that you have, it can age for years longer, 5, 10, 15, 20, just depending on the quality and how people prefer their cognacs. All right, so now we got all that covered for our Gascon information. Let's go ahead and let's sample the Bouquet. So pour yourself a glass, give it a swirl, get it open up. Now I want to share something else with you guys that I learned the other day in some of my studies. White wines are often served too cold. They should only be served between 55 and 65 degrees Fahrenheit. So if your wine feels awfully shocking or it just feels super, super cold, warm it up. A lot of those flavors will come out more. When you serve it too cold, it mutes a lot of those flavors. So if you ever have a white wine and you're like, it tastes like water, try warming it up. Just use your hands like this. It will be fine. But try it. I had no idea. Now you know. Now I know. All right. Let's give her a whiff. I'm getting lots of floral, citrus, and very sicky sweet, like honeysuckle aromas from the wine. Also some minerality, like a little bit of rock, maybe some slate. Smells very good. Got even like a little spice. Like when it hits in your nose, you're like, ooh, it's a little spicy. So let's give it a taste. Remember to swish. Remember to let it hit all over your palate. It's a mild to medium acidic wine. And what I mean by that is you don't get the super gushy mouth-watering feel, but you do get one from underneath the palate. There's a tiny little hint of spice in there. Lots of citrus, like clementine, some lemon. It's very good. A lot of floral notes, some minerality. Very, very good. I'm actually enjoying this one. Now, it doesn't have a whole lot of body, but it does have a very nice citrusy finish. So I'm going to say this is your fish wine. This is your shrimp wine. I even would go so far to say, you know, your Old Bay and butter shrimp. This will stand up to butter. I think this will cut through butter nicely. This is going to be your delicate, soft cheese wine. So go with your goat cheese, your feta, chickpea salad, that kind of thing. You want to stay light. I also would recommend this with those clementine flavors in the wine. Do like a spinach salad with a clementine vinaigrette. You can find all sorts of recipes online for those. I've made them once, and you actually put feta cheese on top. It looks weird, but it is absolutely delicious, and I think this would go very, very well with it. So gang, we're at day 17. We're almost done, and I'm so sad. I don't want to be done. I want to keep going. So let's bump out to day 17. Oh no, we're ripping it. Oh no. There we go. Gang, my poor Advent calendar has not stood up to me. All right, day 17, and it says warm and cozy. Look at that, so cute. Day 17 is in the bag, friends. I'll see you tomorrow for day 18. Until then, au revoir.